stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll have our opening prayer. If everyone would bow their heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the change of season. We thank you for the beauty of that change, and we pray that as we go through that change, the preparation necessary within our city can take place seamlessly. We pray that you watch over the activities of this meeting tonight, that the discussions that we have and the decisions we make may be pleasing to you and pleasing to all of our citizens. In your name we pray. Amen. All right. We'll take a look at the reading and approval of the minutes from our September 5th meeting. Motion to approve the agenda as presented. The minutes, is that what you meant?
Yeah. Motion to suspend reading.
All right, we've got a motion to suspend the readings and approve the minutes.
Second.
We've got a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, and same sign for non-approval. Motion carries. Okay, and now we'll be looking at the agenda that were presented. Are there any additions to the agenda this evening?
So moved.
Hearing none, we've got a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
And seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we'll jump right into then our engineer's report. Jared?
Good evening. Like I said, on the board here. Generally, I'm just going to go through the report. I really don't have any approvals for you guys tonight, kind of just updates on cost estimates, things we're working on. So as far as the water project goes, in the last month, they've done some seeding restoration work out there on the north side of town where there was only weeds. I think that happened last week, but none of those things have had time to grow yet. But generally, one of the reasons we're waiting to close out this job is until we hit 75% establishment of grass. They've definitely got vegetation out there, but it's mostly weeds. So we got to kind of leave it open for that reason. And the second reason is for the asphalt patching and concrete repair work. We're very close on that stuff. So ideally, if we get through the punch list stuff, our plan is to be closing out this project with CAN here this fall. They do have a punch list, so if there's other items that you guys know about, I'd really like to know about them now. I think we've exhausted all that, but there's always stuff that slips through the cracks. Expedition Estates, the only work that's going on right at the moment is backfilling. We've had a guy here almost all of the time. They're replacing the sewer main still in the loop area. The compaction is going well. The frequency of compaction tests is very high. A lot of it's a moisture issue when you don't pass compaction, but things have been dried out. I don't know if you guys have driven by it out there, but it's a very, very deep hole, very big spoil piles. Compaction is going very, very slow, but that's on purpose. So right now, they're getting up to where the homes are. I can't say for certain how much more progress they're planning to make this year. I just don't know. I mean, there are sewer problems further along in front of the homes and then on 11th. There are different ways of addressing sewer problems through trenchless methods, through open trench. I'm not certain what they're going to do. I haven't been told. I mean, we're providing the inspection. Everything they've done so far has been good. It's just, I don't see a lot of companies opening up big areas this time of year. So I just wouldn't be surprised to know they were going to cease things. And they were never intending to pave this year. So I'll let you know what I hear or what I know as far as continuing on. Really the next and only thing I have for you guys is we got these, there's a map in your packet. Why don't you just go to that map on whatever page and I'll kind of just walk you through. So this is the Union, up a little bit.
Stay on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this, you guys commissioned some topographic survey out here. So we've surveyed this area, that's north, that direction. So originally we had a cost estimate for doing the alley. We added the city parking lot on there. This is the alley going to the north, which we're not doing, but I just extended it to the edge of the parking lot. And then these would be considered those private areas. So I've got cost estimates broken down, and I'll just kind of walk them through. But the city parking lot would be $233,000. The alley would be $142,000, and then individual costs for those little places. All in all, it kind of adds up to be around about $500,000 to do all of it. We have not broken this down like in individual assessment levels yet, but that's kind of our next step. I just wanted to get this kind of in front of you guys to let you know. If you're thinking dollar amount wise, that's what it would cost to do all of it. And it's not a design, it's not ready for bid or anything like that. It's just meant to be a good map and good cost estimate. And at the next meeting, I'll present my engineer's report for what it is. But it definitely warrants a storm sewer extension. So there's a little bit of this cost is in the storm sewer pipe. Right now, it's basically flat out there, and poor drainage leads to premature failures on these things. So extending a storm sewer pipe from the west, we have storm sewer right there off the edge of the alley, so it wouldn't be like we're going blocks and blocks and blocks, but a simple extension into the parking lot and into the alley, basically here. Coming from this alley into the lot and over. This isn't that far, it's only like 150 feet, I believe, but that would make a big difference. It would allow us to get rid of that water and hopefully extend the life of those things. But that's about where we're at. What I would expect is next month is I'll have a per property breakdown of what special assessments may look like if that decides to go. The other cost estimates we kind of tidied up, and they kind of ranged from SCADA system stuff for the lift station. Monty, I don't know if you have any updates on those or not, but you got 2 panels in your system that are of the newer variety, the lift station panels. And if you wanted to hook them up to your SCADA system that you have at City Hall, it's about $20,000 to $25,000 per piece, per each, to hook that up so you could get the alarms, that have it all sync and work together with what we invested in here a couple of years ago. That's not all of your lift stations. Usually when you got some older panels that aren't nearly this far along. So when controls probably last 20 years on your lift stations, these ones I think are about 11 years old. And so it'd be appropriate to just upgrade them, for a SCADA type system. The other ones, you probably want to wait until the lift station panels need to be done and then just do it at once. Otherwise, there could be some options of more of a simple system, more of an auto dialer system, but I think we're waiting for some estimates from WRT on those tips. Sorry.
So we did receive some communications from West River Telecom, and I was just curious, the quotes that you threw up here, do they include that component of it, or is this outside of the communications that would go through the telephone company?
So this system would be where we put antennas on the towers, and then they would just talk to the equipment you have.
Got it.
The West Rivers would be phone line or I don't know how exactly, or internet cable or whatever, but you'd pay a monthly fee, I would assume.
Okay.
They would require separate phone lines.
So horse of a different color.
One's a higher capital cost with no cost going forward, and then one's a lower capital cost with a higher monthly fee.
Okay.
Yep. But that would get 2 more lift stations linked up with the smart system, so you get alarms, you get messages, whatever, something's going wrong, they get notified in the middle of the night to go fix a problem. Either system would be better than we have.
Okay.
So then the next thing we kind of tidied up and updated is there's some concrete panels that are breaking up on the pedestrian trail in various parts of town. I don't have the map tidied up yet for you guys, but basically, we had our guys go around. Since there were some problem areas over here near the city shop, I just had John go through all the pedestrian trails in town and mark up problem areas. If you do end up doing a concrete project in this alley back here, it would be an ideal time to tack on and do some additional panels that are already broken up. So, very preliminary cost estimates. I don't even really want to share them aloud because there's options. You know, you can take asphalt areas and go to concrete areas. There's just different ways. But in your pack, there's some really rough costs. At the next meeting, when I present my engineer's report, I'll have a little more tidied up map for you guys to look at, and then you can go look at them yourselves. When you do special assessment projects, like this alley is expected to be, you start the process early to get through the pro-test period. So I'm trying to get ahead of this and get cost estimates done now, so if you guys decide you're gonna do a project, we can bid these projects in December, January. If you wait to do the special assessment stuff in January, February, we're not bidding things until April, May, and with materials and workloads, it's not a good idea. It's just that if we want better prices, we gotta be opening bids early.
Okay.
So I would expect I'll be probably in touch with you guys to try and refine some of these things to see if we're gonna do something next year or not. So, any questions for me?
Okay.
Quality asphalt will be your Wednesday.
That's it. Okay. They're both doing some patches, and I think you guys may be prepping a few small spots.
Yeah, we're gonna help work with them on the prep process.
Some extra things you guys wanted to do, I think. Yeah, that's good. Once they're here, just to get it done. It's just, most of the cost is built into getting them here with the paving crew. A few extra patches, it doesn't add much cost. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, guys.
All right, next we move down to 8A. Excuse me? 6A, excuse me, 6A, Hazen Public Schools has put in a local permit request for bingo/raffle. Motion to approve permit. Okay, we've got a motion to approve
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? We just do this with a,
Just a voice vote.
okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Now, we will move down to 8A, which is the commercial building permit by Hazen Mercantile. And this again, this is just for our information, or do we need to?
It does need your
act
action
on it?
because it is a commercial building permit. There isn't a lot of details on his plans. He's basically adding on to the north side of his building. Since he purchased, he owns this whole building now. He wants to add some more storage space into the back in his commercial, so there are no real setbacks. He can build basically right up to the property line.
Okay. This is right on the back. Right there. Okay. Wishes of the board? Motion to approve permit. Okay, we've got a motion to approve
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion?
So then is the building going to, line up, with the other walls of the bigger building? Or
Yes,
It's
yes.
not gonna stick out or anything?
No, his intention is to make everything the same distance in the back on the north side. He is looking at, there is a utility pole back here, so he may even end up staying a little bit less than the other building, depending on if he can get that utility moved or not.
So then on the setback, then I guess, over in the alley, what's that gonna be?
There actually is none required. He's looking at a couple feet probably.
So I'm just curious, if you were to stop at that alley and be able to see, down the street or not. That's,
Yeah, because of the boulevard there on the east side, there will be enough room to stop before you get on the street and have clear line of sight up and down, yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Weidrich. Aye. Stern.
aye.
Pillar.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, down into reports. Water, sewer, and garbage. Had a little dog and pony show today with one of the water meter manufacturers, represented by, who was it by? I got it.
DSG.
Yes.
Dakota Supply.
Dakota Supply Group. And we know that we're in a situation where we're going to get ready to move forward. Primarily, the need was to take care of the communications associated with the water meters for our residential customers. And upon further review, Jared shared with us that it appears, Jared shared with us that it appears as though the water meters themselves may be near end of life. So we're just exploring some opportunities and stuff right now to maybe look at some other providers out there. We did have some discussions with more engineering, and collectively we'd be putting together probably a bid spec at some time and then reach out and maybe entertain some additional presentations from water meter manufacturers. Jared did share that typically there's monies available out there to help cities like ours for those type of applications. So while it may be a daunting number, it may not be as daunting as it could be. This particular manufacturer has readily available equipment out there, 4 to 6 weeks, compared to some of the others that we've been hearing out there. But there's a whole future to this, but this is just setting the stage that there will be some further discussions and work with our engineering folks, and then we'll develop a plan for moving forward. That's all I have for this evening, so then we'll move on to streets, cemetery. That one there, we'll talk about some of the business there down on other sections there. So we'll move on to finance, busing, and library.
So at this time, I don't have anything to report on.
Thank you. And then we've got police, fire, and forestry.
All right, so we did have an officer, Anthony Melberg, did turn in a letter of resignation. His last date working for Hazen Police Department will be October 22nd. Position has been posted to hire a new one. That's all I have for the police. Do you have anything you want to add, Jim? Okay. I did have a conversation Friday with Mike Lemire. Asked him if you'd consider taking over the spraying part for the city. And it sounds like Dave's already been after him about that, and he did say he's willing to do that. So he's going to work with you and trying to get classes set up and get the certification to do that. So that'll help us out dramatically there. That's all I got for now.
All right. Buster, you got anything tonight for HCD?
I don't. I'm going to take a pass.
All right, and our president is working, so there'll be no president's report tonight. Moving on to old business then, control device, or in other words, stop sign for 5th Street and 3rd Avenue. So we've asked our representatives from law enforcement who had presented this for the last meeting to come in person. So, Agent, if you'd like to present.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, Board, for giving me some time to address this evening. Appreciate it. My concerns come at 5th Street Northeast and 3rd Avenue Northeast. Doing some day shift patrols around school time and patrolling in that area.
one, I myself had a close call with somebody driving there. And one of the big things of that intersection is there's quite a bit of child traffic that go through that intersection, either coming up from my street and going or coming across. And that is both before and after school, usually fall time, this time of area, and then springtime. There's a lot of vehicle traffic east and westbound on there, from parents picking up their kids and dropping off their kids at elementary school, sometimes from the high school, come there and then they come down that street, go out to Fourth and head out. The southbound traffic from the school, it's usually more during dismissal of school, is heavy. And speed is an issue. I sat there a couple times and there was, quite a few times that speed was an issue. People got some very stern talkings too on that one. And I informed my chief, I did have a close call there. I was coming, would have been eastbound. I was doing school patrol and it was during dismissal. I was coming eastbound and somebody pretty much almost T-boned me. It's just, number one, if you look at the map that I printed out for you, you can see that north-southbound is really kind of blind. I guess it's really kind of a sharp corner of kind of a blind corner there. And it's an uncontrolled intersection, so people just kind of think they can go kind of right through it. And really, as if we could yield sign or stop sign. As law enforcement, and I'm sure the attorney knows, that's going to give us more ability to enforce. Whereas you have an uncontrolled intersection, you have to establish. Okay? So it's really you have an uncontrolled intersection and something happens, God forbid, it involves one of those kids on foot. But if something happens, we have to establish. Whereas if there's that control device there, we're going to benefit from the safety of it. We start to enforce that. The word's going to get around. We're enforcing that. Hello. I seen the effects of it when I was parked just north of there. People were slowing down pretty good. Yeah.
So would you be looking to stop the north-south traffic or the east-west or four-way?
I believe north and south would be the best option. Because those to me, as I went through that intersection many times and kind of building up to presenting this to you, the north and south to me is more blind than the east to west for me.
Down by your house, is there a stop sign there, north and south, or is it east and west? There's
The
one
stop
there,
sign on the corner of my block there is north and south. Yep, north and south.
So would you prefer a stop sign or a yield sign?
To be quite honest, I think stop would be the safest option, in my opinion. Just because they come to that stop, are there kids there in that blind spot? You take the time to stop, they become visible. Whereas you know how most people are with yield signs. I can't say I'm innocent either. So what we could do with this is, as I've wrote there, the benefits, you're going to increase that safety for those children. Okay. Number one, you're going to put that sign there, you're going to give us, as law enforcement, more capability to enforce that. And a little bit more of a, hey, there's something here for the public to keep their eye on. And then increase that traffic safety. Because like I said, there is heavy traffic in the mornings from parents dropping their kids off at elementary. And then they come down that street right before and head out. Any questions?
What, yeah, Jim?
The other problem is at that intersection,
east and west is 15, north and south is 25. So that's why everybody's racing up, or racing down north and south, trying to beat the traffic. Because they used to cut through, Barbeau's, but now that's Groundation, they don't have the room to do that. So to beat traffic, they'd be coming down that way so they don't have to stand in line. But that's a big problem too, the two different speeds on that street.
And that fifth is part of Arrow Street too.
Yeah, and but 25, 25 zones this wide and fifth is this wide.
Are there any negatives to doing something like this?
Well, I guess, me, I'd rather just see, I guess, a yield sign. Yeah, because that way then, I guess, even outside the other times that it's then, I guess, like busy and stuff, then the guys aren't gonna have to stop there.
The only problem near, and yield signs, in theory, they provide some benefit, but if the goal is to really reduce the speed so you don't have that long straight shot, that would be how I'd be looking at that. Just how do we curb some of the speed?
Any other questions for AJ?
Section, and the person that got there first has the right of way, but how are you gonna prove who got there first? And before it was always, person on the right has the right of way. So,
So what are the wishes of the board?
I'll make a motion to put a stop sign in for the north and southbound lanes.
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor,
Second.
and we've got a second. Further discussion?
Also think we should look at possibly lowering the speed on the north and southbound, at least for that first block there, up until this intersection to 15 also. Because that technically, I believe, would be considered a school zone too, or be right at the edge of the school
it's
zone.
right by the alley. Dave, I don't think there's a 15 zone speed on that, north and south, is there?
I don't believe so, no.
I don't remember seeing.
So that'd be one block south of the school road. So that north and south road for that one block, I think we should look at possibly lowering that speed to 15 also.
So are you looking to amend your original motion?
Not at this time.
Okay, so
Just
right now,
wanna
the
look
motion
into
would be to establish stop signs. Correct. On the north-south traffic on that intersection. And it's been seconded. Any further discussion?
I'd just like to say that, if you drive in the older part of town there, all the time it seems like you drive a block, you stop. You grab a block, you stop, I just think it's a little too much.
Anything else? Roll call.
Weider.
Aye.
Stern.
No,
Pillar.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, and so Dave, that's coordination through you and your
Yep.
team? Okay. All right, well, thank you. And then the next item we have here is the mower repair replacement. Dave, maybe you can speak to this with Mr. Hack not being here.
Last time we brought up, trading off the 2010 for a new 24. Monty handed out the estimates, or he's got it up to, they're offering $55 or $5,500 trade-in on that 2010 on the new machine. So that would bring it to 39,497.04.
And you said in our last meeting that all of the equipment that we have
Is interchangeable.
is interchangeable and would work with this particular machine.
And I did talk to the mechanic shop where I took the 2016, and it has stuck valves. He's got the valve cover off of it, and he's got to that point. Next step would be removing the head off of that machine, seeing if it actually did piston damage when these valves stuck, or if it's just a matter of getting a rebuilt head or having that head repaired. That would incur a little bit more labor on his part to continue on with the diagnostics or whatever.
Remind me, in our last meeting, did we just approve moving forward to determine what the cost would be for that repair?
Yes.
Okay. So we're still waiting for a complete estimate on that.
Well, it's a matter of how much it's gonna cost to even get an estimate for repair.
For
because of
four
the time
repairs,
that
right
it's
now
going
we're at
in.
around $160, $170 for what he's up to this point, determining that we got some vent push rods and stuck valves.
Okay.
Next step would be pulling the head off. With the 160 we got in it right now, to continue to get the head off to see what further damage, or he'd probably be at about the $800 mark for estimating, and then it would be whatever he would deem if that motor is fixable or if it is completely shot, but.
Can't he pull an injector and stick a bore scope down?
I was
the
gonna
hole?
visit with him about that or whatever and see if he can see any piston damage or anything like that. Kind of surprises me that RDO wouldn't have noticed the valves were stuck. They did a compression test, how do you Well, know that's all why the valves are stuck? That's why we went to a different repair shop or whatever. It wasn't getting much headway that way. I can visit with him some more on it, but that's what I found out this morning.
So I guess, me, I'd like to see, once we get that other one that's running first, I guess, or make up our mind.
On purchasing a new one.
Yeah.
Correct.
But,
So I thought we talked about that at the last meeting, that was all contingent on whether this one could be rebuilt or not, whether we were gonna get rid of that old one. I know Jason wanted to know what trade-in value was of the 2010, that's why I came up with what I presented tonight. Does it show on there, Monty, how long that is good for? 30 days.
30 days from creation, so that would be 30 days from, where's the date? Expiration October 5th. One more meeting before then.
So maybe the action tonight is we want to wait to see about the repair. And if we're able to repair, then that, depending on the cost, may be the path that we go forward. But we would have one more meeting then to be able to use this number as presented to us for trade-in and replacement with new.
Of the older machine, correct.
Would that be the wishes of the board tonight then?
Do you want to try to come up with a limit as to the diagnostic cost? Or just they can diagnose it no matter what?
so I move, I guess, that we spend up to, I guess, about $3,500 over on the repair, I guess, over the new mower.
So repairs up to that, so we're paying for diagnostics right now. So the combination of the diagnostics and the physical repair would be limited to $3,500, that's your intent?
Yep.
Okay. I'll second it. We've got a motion and a second with that content, Monty? Yep. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Stern,
Aye.
probably On the
Nothing definite yet. We did put some funding into the budget, just in case.
just in case.
Yeah.
What's typical life on these?
I'm not sure what year the case is, but that still has the original tires on it.
Yeah, I think we got that like, I don't know,
That was the year that George retired, so.
Only
so
reason,
at that time, I guess, over on the other loader, that one there, I think it had big like $9,000 on it, or $10,000 on it.
When you guys replaced it.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea how much that old loader has on it roughly? For hours? It's probably 11,000.
idea, kind of a repeat of what we've done in the past.
And that's why I wonder, is it worth putting $10,000 worth of tires on it if we're gonna get rid of it? We don't have good enough tires to last the winter though, I don't believe. I mean, how soon you wanna get rid of it? I know for budgeting, I got Monty a couple, I think, bigger estimate prices or whatever back when on loader replacement or whatever, just for figuring that budget, but
260, I think, or something like that.
Wow. It's not other than. So the other one, I'm pretty sure that was like 150, I think. That time.
the case was, yeah.
Yeah. It's, yeah.
And the last time we sold the old loader outright, we
Yeah,
just
a
put it
little
on
over
a bid for
50,000,
50, I wanna say 50,000 we got for it.
Well, I suppose it's gonna be harder to sell it with crappy tires on it too, particularly if they blow out. So, we have money available, Monty, for that?
Yes. We still have, what did you say, 37,000 in, granted, we spent 20 already, so. Get down here a little bit. Revenue expenditures. We still have 57,000 unexpended budgeted in the equipment line. We've overspent the repairs line, but
Make a motion to replace both sets of tires with OK Auto.
Okay, we got a motion. By
Second.
Wicker, second by Stern. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Weidrich.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Pillar.
Aye. Motion carries. Put the new rubber on. Okay, now we move to public comments. Do we have anybody from the public tonight?
I would love to introduce myself. My name is Manel. And basically,
I'm alarmed of what's going on in our country. And I'm afraid that it may happen here in Hazen. Every time I call my mortgage company, I'm alerted that Hazen is declared a disaster by FEMA. And so I started looking more into it throughout North Dakota. And I found that there's a lot of funding coming from the federal. And so I started asking questions. What's going on? Why is FEMA declaring Hazen a disaster for North Dakota? And of course, I'm not getting any answers on this issue, but I told the representative at the mortgage company, please tell FEMA that we're destroying our county. This is what's happening, is FEMA has gotten involved in most of the country. And wherever they're involved, there's disaster like what we've seen in Hawaii. So that's one of the problems that I'm seeing, but there are so many, because there is, since 3 years ago, when we had the emergency lockdown, there's an agenda being pushed. And this agenda is dangerous to everybody. Not just the public, but everybody in this room. Because the agenda, if anybody has looked into the injection that was pushed, this agenda has to do with transforming humanity or depopulation. The CIA put out a report called the Deagle Report. It claims that it's going to at least depopulate 80 to 90% of the population throughout the world. But the United States is right now is the aim. And so they're going to push this agenda again, and they're going to call another emergency. And it's going to be connected to climate change. Now, the carbon capture that they're building here near Hazen, about 6 or 7 miles down on the 200, is very dangerous. And that will actually create the scenario that they're trying to create, which is depopulation. And it's also connected to the CBDC that they're trying to push, making everyone a slave. Because transhumanism, you no longer have rights. And CBDC, it gets to monitor, and that's what smart meters and smart this and smart that is all connected to depopulate and transform humanity. I know the agenda sounds crazy, and I may be the one that will be accused of being crazy. But I've been following, and I can back up the reports for the things that are going on, and we're in dangerous, dangerous times. Very dangerous. We do have 5G here in Hazen because I looked it up. Where exactly it is, I have no idea. The new lights that have been put up, it has connection to the technology that they're using today. This technology is also connected to why I have drones over my house. And I started seeing them in August of last year. I've been complaining about it because now my dog is sick of cancer. I see the planes when they're spraying this. They're spraying barium, aluminum, and nanoparticles. The food is full of nanoparticles now. There's chemicals that are being used. And all I'm trying to do is to wake up humanity so we can stop this agenda from going any further. And that's basically because of love for humanity. It's not because, it's very difficult to come forward and talk about this because I know I'll be identified. Maybe I am cuckoo, right? And I don't want to be identified, but this is too important and too dangerous. And so somebody's got to speak up. And that's where I'm at.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else from the community? All right, hearing none, then we'll move on to 14, which is the approval of the bills.
Motion to approve bills.
Okay, we've got a motion by Weidrich to approve the bills,
Second.
second by Stern. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Weidrich.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye. Motion carries, bills are approved, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.